Hello, everybody. I'm Dr. Jeffrey E. Berger, and welcome to Season 2 as we're wrapping up Season 2 here of Holistic True Wealth, a series in collaboration with Mupo TV, part of Mupo Entertainment. As the CEO and founder of Abundance and Optimum Wellness and a certified holistic coach, I am of the belief we all should be living a life of abundance and optimum wellness, physically, mentally, emotionally, spiritually, and financially. And as a certified holistic coach today, I'm now taking a finance first approach to achieving all encompassing personal well being while embracing new ways to true wealth in the modern world. Exploring diverse paths opens the door to true wealth in every sense. Today, we're facing a paradigm shift that is revolutionizing our futures in ways that are unprecedented. And to remain stagnant is to be left behind. And as a global ambassador for an internationally known, innovative, high-tech company revolutionizing the future with today's technologies like real estate, finance, education, AI, metaverse, I'm deeply committed to empowering individuals and communities worldwide to have that opportunity to take advantage of what's coming in on the ground floor with ecosystems already accredited by industry giants such as Microsoft, Apple, Netflix, and Amazon, just to list a few, to diversify their investment portfolios in this evolving digital world. And my mission goes beyond that business aspect. It's really providing that global-minded entrepreneur or individual with new ways to true wealth in the modern world so they can circumvent these broken systems and go from financial fatigue to financial freedom. And it's about creating opportunities, providing access, and building a more inclusive and supportive digital world where everyone has a chance to thrive. True wealth isn't only about money. It's about the combination of physical, mental, emotional, spiritual, and financial fitness. Myself and my very, very special guests are all about bringing awareness around alternative solutions from all aspects, leading one towards a path to overall true wealth. The mission: provide real solutions for real people who are serious about wanting to go from barely surviving to thriving again. So with that, before I bring on my very, very special guest today, I'm so excited that he's here today. We're going to take a quick commercial break. But for those of you who are interested in this series, the interview series in collaboration with Mupo Entertainment at mupotv.com, you can download the Android or the iOS app. We're in 144 countries, and we're also seen on Fire TV, Roku, and Vimeo. And there is Paramount, who is looking at this series of interviews in Mupo TV to bringing it over to their platform for a much wider audience experience. So with that, we're going to take a quick commercial break, and I'll be right back with our special guest. And we are back, and joining us today all the way from Edmonton, Alberta, Canada, way, way, way up there on the other side of this North American continent here is my very special guest, Jeffrey Saunders. And Jeffrey and I actually go back to 2018 is when we first met, and having the distinct honor and blessing to experience his special gifts that he's going to be sharing today. Truly, for me, it was a transformative experience. Very, very first time, going through this experience with him. So I reached out asking him to be a guest, and he graciously accepted. So I'm very, very humbled. And we do have some similarities in our background, being survivors of abuse, so forth and so on. And today, Jeffrey is known as a divine light master and is a two-time international best-selling co-author, is a teacher of higher and lower frequencies, soul healer, trauma healer, and has been an intuitive coach for over 6 years. So with that, welcome to the show, Jeffrey, my dear friend.
Thank you. Very grateful to be on here with all you've, just stated, the years of friendships that we had, to watch each other grow, and to have this platform that you've risen to now to allow me to speak and connect with more people with my passion in giving back in a holistic way that transformed my life. So thank you to those that are watching today and connecting today, and here to help to give the solution so that we can all rise up to feel more peace and unconditional love for ourselves in life. And that's what I'm here to do. So
Absolutely. Absolutely. So before we dive into the questions for today, share with our viewers who Jeffrey Saunders is outside of your passion and what you are doing today, having incredible results with the people that you're helping.
yeah, so today in my life, I am definitely different than my friends that I had years ago. Uh, since my NDE that I had back in 2018, it was life changing for me. Who I am today is a person who loves myself unconditionally. And I had a lifetime of experiences of not feeling worthy or good enough. And I've risen in my life through all the different experiences of 30 years of outside help to be in this space where I am today, to love myself unconditionally, to feel freed from hatred, to feel freed from anger, resentments, not feeling worthy or good enough, and shame and guilt. Through all those experiences, that we have lived through in one way or another, that took us away from the pureness of our light, of unconditional love. And the joy that I have in my life and the blessings for each person, that I'm able to take all the wisdom I've gathered to be freed in my life from the suffering with the addictions and the mental health diagnosis, trying to take my life many times, a dozen times since I was the age of 12, and I'm freed from that today. And to live in the space of peace and calmness that moves through me without the worries, the fears, and all that, that I once lived in every single day. I'm freed from that today. And I just want to give it all back to those that are in that space where they don't know what to do, they don't know where to go, to feel the peace that can move through us, and to feel love for ourselves that is unconditional. And that is who I am today, from the life of who I once was in my past.
Right, absolutely. So, you bring in some really great learning points and experiences that you and I have shared in conversations from similar life experiences. So, your journey has taken you like 360 squared or quadrupled or whatever. And what was that turning point for you that you started to discover these unique gifts that you have, and getting you started to where you wanted to make change for your own life? Because as you say, you love yourself unconditionally. And I got to that point finally after 60 some odd years.
Right.
And that's where it really starts, because we are conditioned. That's wrong. You're fat, you're ugly, you're stupid, and everything is nay, 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 nay. And rather than, the opposite of encouraging and helping people. But what was that turning point where you started to explore uh, what you wanted to do to change, but then also when you discovered your gifts?
Okay, so when I was 17 years old, I started with outside help, outside therapy, and that was to have an actual psychologist and to help with the abuse I grew up as a child, because I did live in all the different forms of the sexual inappropriate touching that was done to me. as a child, the verbal abuse, the mental abuse, the mind games, the abandonment feeling of not feeling worthy or good enough by, someone in my family, my father for me, and being bullied every year going to school, all those experiences led to me not feeling worthy or good enough as a little boy. And then in school, I started getting kind of counseling, and they were trying to figure out I had severe ADHD. I wasn't diagnosed until I was 32, but that I couldn't learn properly because I was always thinking, lost in my mind. Right. So I had different forms of counseling and stuff, but it really started at the age of 17. And I had about 150 sessions of therapy throughout my life, and the psych ward and outside patients. So, I was on the journey to wanting to not be like my father, was the truth of it, at the age of 17. And I stayed in counseling for a very long time. But I still had mental health illnesses. I still had different things that I struggled with
Sure.
that were severe of mental health: PTSD, insomnia, overeating, um, bipolar, manic depressive disorder,
Manic
all these
depression.
different things. I was diagnosed over the years. And it wasn't until my near-death experience, my last time trying to take my life was 2018. It was 10 years since the last attempt. And that was the change for me. I seen what the earth had to offer of those that were trying to help people by the therapy and all the different things I went through, but
Hmm.
it still needed more. And it was through my near-death experience and what I went through and coming back to my body and waking up in this physical body, understanding who I am, of the truth of our eternal being that leaves our human
Right.
form. I could see beings walking around within this dimension of space. So I started learning and growing with elders in the light. They started teaching me different higher beings like archangels and Jesus and ascendant masters, and then even higher beings in the pureness of light at the core of what our core creator of unconditional love that we are all
Right.
stemmed from. And
Yeah.
I've risen to that space. So through thousands of hours in the last 6 years, for sure over 10,000 hours, I've dedicated my life since coming back to learning and growing through their teachings of elders in the light. They've shown me it's all energy that's
Right.
attached to our light body that we feel. And each feeling we feel is a different dimension of space, which is a different vibrational frequency. And I didn't know any of this stuff. Trust me, in my life, I barely got a GED with a 47%. Okay, up here in Canada, I was pass. Okay, so I learned through all these experiences in the light and also working in the lower dimensions of where they're stuck in those vibrations of suffering.
Yeah.
So through all this work and understandings, I've gained it all where each layer was removed from me, that now I don't have the attached feelings from the experience that I once lived through. So that's been my growth to be where I'm at today, to not feel the energy, to not feel the feelings and the
Right.
thoughts that take me away from knowing how worthy and perfect I am just for being who I am. So
Awesome. Yeah. And you talk about those energies and those, visions. And I'm coming back to when I was working with you and seeing this staircase and these light images and that warm feeling, and which was something I never ever had experienced before. But it was an eye opener for me because of challenges with my own beliefs, so forth and so on. So, and I think that we've grown up in a world where there's so much evil that they've kind of dissipated all of that was there, centuries ago, and it's
mhm,
kind of been squashed. But now people like
yeah.
you are bringing that out. It's like, we're here, we have a mission, we have a purpose, and we need to find that and love ourselves more. And that should be taught in the schools right out of the get-go, and
Eventually, I see that being here. Eventually, we're rising up to that space,
yeah, yeah,
right? From
absolutely.
where our past generations were
Yep,
in darkness.
absolutely.
Yeah.
So we're both passionate about holistic, being holistic health practitioners. And so, what is your approach to bringing healing to those who suffer mentally, physically, emotionally, and spiritually? We talked about, and you talked about the general and bringing in light of the general understanding of eternal truth and frequencies that you often speak about, because I saw in one of your videos, your where you were illustrating it with a record.
Yes.
And but go ahead.
Well, I wrote it down here because I wanted to give the best, because I knew that the eternal truth would come up. And just to share with people, eternal truths are the core foundation to all that is, of the highest level of light, which cannot be altered or changed by personal beliefs. And that is the best alignment that I could share for eternal truths. And that's what I work in the light. When we rise up, see, when I was a child, I didn't feel worthy or good enough. That was my perspective of my truth. You couldn't tell me I wasn't worthy enough or good enough because of how people treated me. That was my truth. That was my perspective. But there was a higher truth that I grew to understand, that we all grow to understand, to rise up from the experiences that took us away from the pureness of light. But we level up as we start doing inner healing work to heal those experiences from the past that we lived through. So, with your question, my approach in bringing healing is I have the understanding of the eternal truth to who we all are, what our feelings are. They're all
Mhm.
dimensions of space. And as I went through, there's 27 different dimensions of space of darkness I went into, and I actually gave my life to go through this, and I
Mhm.
almost, if I would have went any lower, I would have lost my human life from going through it, because I have
Right.
severe lung disease now by going through these lower dimensions. But I'm
Oh,
healing it to heal myself. I live through my internal self. I don't live through the humanness of myself like I once was. So it doesn't bother me. It's my work I've come here to do, basically, right? But
right.
through all that work and understandings, how I'm fully freed from the weight of thoughts that aren't our thoughts. Our human consciousness of our thinking mind is like a radio picking up all the different channels of our suffering of our past, of every moment we lived through, and of the good and the bad for the experiences. We hold on to the energy of what those vibrations of experiences were, and then it creates the mind to think and then also feel the weight of the past. So when I work with people, because I work one-on-one, I only work through video call sessions only. So I have over 100 testimonials even on video, and even from a psychologist or psychiatrist, of bringing healing, of instantly bringing healing to mental health illnesses from people, challenges that I call them. And it's by bringing healing to their inner child of those experiences where they didn't feel worthy or good enough. So I have a 90-minute session, and I have a big up to 5-hour session. That's a really big session for me to do with
Wow.
people and to go through with people. But the one-on-one is a 90-minute session. And what we basically go through is vulnerability is key to our freedom. And to work with me and to go through healing, I had to be vulnerable with every single person I worked with to get things out, because when you work with me, we got to get things out. You got to share the truth of the experience that you lived through of harm as a child, the
Mhm.
shame and guilt that you carry because of what you've repeated or what you've done, right? And to bring
Right.
healing to the hatred and resentments we carry, we have to bring healing to shame, guilt, hate, anger, resentments, to the experiences. Now, how do we do that? Well, we need to gain a higher understanding of the eternal truth to what this is. Because before, I believed every experience was personal to me, of all the different forms of abuse, because I was not worthy or good enough. Truth was, all the experiences of harm from each person of whatever they did to me is because it was done to them.
To
They
them.
were
Right.
left unhealed.
Yeah.
I went through experiences where I repeated different experiences in different relationships. In the beginning, first relationship was horrible before my going into having counseling and diving deep into healing the narcissistic traits I picked up as a child, right? So
Sure.
we have to bring in new understandings to bring healing to the inner child within a person. And we coach for an hour, we hear what the struggles were of the suffering, and then we bring in the light as I connect to the highest frequency of light, and I allow that to move through me, as we bring healing, to the person for the experiences that took them away that they feel. And then the light will actually remove the lower frequency energies that cause the suffering, because we are beings to learn, grow, and evolve. When you learn new perspectives, of higher perspectives of understanding, and you learn the depth of what that experience was for you,
right,
you've learned. And then once you learn, you can then evolve, completing the cycle of our eternal being to learn, grow, and evolve. So I have these core understandings that I was going through, and I just repeat that with people. And
right,
yeah.
I mean, it's you're learning something and then you put it to practice.
And I put it to practice. It changed my life instantly. This is instant transformation. It's hard for people to grasp instant transformation, but I was instantly transformed to no longer suffer in the ways I did once the energies were removed. And once my human self had, my soul and my human self had the perspective that no, the person who touched me wasn't because of me, it was because it was done to them. The way my father treated me of not giving me love is because he grew up in a harder generations of time where he was not given love. He can't give that to me if he doesn't have it.
If he doesn't have
it. Yeah.
Right.
Those who abandoned me or felt abandoned is because they were abandoned. They had experiences. That energy is now a part of them, and now they pass it on to another. It's how it works. It's very simple. Once we all rise up to understand,
absolutely. We're going to take a quick commercial break, and we'll be right back with Jeffrey Saunders. And this quick commercial is going to just give you a highlight of the business that I'm a global ambassador for, educating people about the technologies of today that are changing our futures. And there are opportunities coming in and diversifying your portfolios. So we will be right back with Jeffrey. We are back, and my gosh, I can't believe the time has gone by so fast. We're coming up to 30 minutes here, so we have to have a part two. Promise me we're going to do a part two, Jeffrey.
Oh, absolutely, we can.
Oh, okay, good. So down in the scroll bar is Jeffrey's contact information. You can reach out to him on his Gmail account, and then he also has a Facebook and a YouTube channel. So before we leave, if there was one nugget, one piece of advice that you could provide one or more of our viewers today who are really sick and tired of being sick and tired, and they're really looking for that glimmer of hope. You were looking for that hope. I was looking for that hope. What to improve their life personally, professionally, or a combination of both? What would that be?
To start seeking out help in the ways that will lift you up to feeling love for yourself and love for life. And they will align with each person in their own unique way. And that's, if you find the right person you connect with when they're here, when you hear them speaking and you want to learn more, connect with them. And, in saying that, that is the biggest thing to start rising up in our life, is to heal the experiences of the past, of the hate, anger, shame, and guilt. But you have to be ready. You have to be ready where you're tired of the triggers in your life, triggers in the relationships you're in. It's all linking back to past experiences that cause harm to us. So it's knowing that, but then it's also this is my passion and joy, reaching out to me to do work with me. I also, what you were talking about, Jeffrey, with your experience, you took my online course, and my online course is for understanding and feeling your light body of energy, your soul, connecting with your soul, integrating with the core of the light is what I connect people with.
Mm-hmm.
And then it's learning distant healing. I teach distant healing through, and you'll go through with other students, and how to amplify the power of the light moving through you. So my teachings are for beginners who want to learn how to connect to the light and use it for healing. And then also for those who are Reiki healers of different masters, a lot of them take my class because I am connecting them to the core of the light,
Right.
and I am teaching how to amplify it, and I am teaching how to distant heal, in the different ways that we can do that.
Awesome.
Right.
Awesome. Well, that's great. That is
also
incredible.
one more thing.
Oh, yeah.
To your question. One more thing to your question. If you go to my YouTube channel, which has been, I believe, scrolling, if you go to my YouTube channel or my Facebook group page, Jeffrey Saunders with the Pureness of Light Energy, you can find all my content and on my playlist on my YouTube. But the challenge with the YouTube channel is that they have ads popping up, and I don't have permission to change it. So if you go to my Facebook group page, Guided Healing Meditations with Jeffrey Saunders, you'll have a whole list of all my guided meditations, okay, that are free. They're posted there. They bring in the light. They guide for healing. And then that gives people instant relief as well. Okay, so know that is there with my teachings as well. You just got to reach out, shoot me an email, and I'll be gladly to connect with each person who desires.
Awesome. That's great. Thank you for sharing that. And for those who are interested in getting educated, just getting some information about these new technologies and looking into the opportunity of coming in on the ground floor. This is, I do 5 webinars per month, scan the QR code, get educated. I talk about the story back in 2009 as an ex-software engineer. I was given the opportunity to purchase a 500 Bitcoin at 0.0017 cents. That's an 85-cent investment. And my response was, nah, sounds like a scam. Today it has been sold for valued at over $130,000 per coin. So we are in a paradigm shift. And Jeffrey, thank you so much for coming on the show. And I'm going to sign out with this last video commercial here. See you on the inside.
You thought I was playing? Huh. I was playing? Huh.